Authenticity is not a destination, it's been a journey. It's been amazing to do that with a group of Americans, working with a Canadian crew and a Japanese crew coming into this in front of and behind the camera.
There were a lot of very, very specific cultural rules, especially in that time period. Everything from our lens choice, to our cameras, to our color palette, to camera moves, to how we approach every scene. It was always about whose story is it, whose perspective is it, how do we make sure we are totally immersed.
みんなで一つのものを作ってるってなんかね、本当に大事に一つの作品を作る、一つのシーンを作る。
It became very important very early on to try to include as many voices as we could that kind of spoke to the Japanese American experience. And our room was comprised primarily of Asian American women. And I think that made a huge difference.
And I think from those conversations with our writers, we began to kind of decode what kinds of stories were most interesting to us within this world and what kinds of stories maybe we should move beyond.
The research process has been very long.
Callan Puente, writer and producer on the show, she spent basically more time than the human has compiling all of the research so that we could have it easily accessible all together and there could be continuity between departments. It goes through funeral rites, how one would approach a palanquin, or even just the social structures. This Bible was basically as long as the book itself, almost 1,000 pages.
Good morning, Senor. I am to be your interpreter for today.
We have an incredibly complicated and fantastic script translation process.
It goes through usually to Frederick Crines, who is our head historical advisor. And then it goes to a team of translators in Tokyo. And then after that, it goes to a playwright, Kyoko Moriaki, who specializes in period-style Japanese, and she polishes all the dialogues so that it would feel like the right time period. Then we do our own polish, and we kept polishing until we rolled.
殿方はさまざまな野望のために戦に出られまする。領土、名誉、権勢を増すため。されど女子は常に戦うておるのでございます。
We have a very talented, eclectic group of Japanese actors, and many of them are hugely established in Japan, and some of them are up and coming.
It was beyond the question of doing something more authentic. It was about we wanted in this show the very best actors we could possibly get.
叔父上には多くのことを教わりました。
その教えもこれにてしまいじゃ。
Working together in this show are wonderful actors. They all very giving and sporting. I learned so much from them.
The first time I worked with Cosmo was so memorable. Even though I didn't understand what he was saying, I could feel a lot of things just by looking at his eyes.
海外に日本ではない作品に出るのも初めてですし、日本の時代劇に触れるというのも初めてなので気合も入りますし、あとは本当に役と同様に父上の背中を見て、僕自身も役と共に成長していっているなっていう感じがあります。
せっかく勇気を振り絞って飛び込んでくれたからには絶対に恥はかかせないというのと、最大限にその人の良さをこのドラマにつぎ込みたい。で、幸せに帰国してもらいたいというのが。
It's a big deal for them to put their life in Japan on hold and commit to being Vancouver for almost a year. I think all the actors who signed on really believed in the story and understood there really is an historic moment.
One of the things I've learned the most having worked on the show is I've come to appreciate the singularity of the culture. After Shogun, I feel like culture's actually not what makes us separate and different. It's finding the humanness that we all share.